Welcome back, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 11th science biology and we are going to see the chapter 18, that is body fluids and circulation. So first we are going to see the basic introduction related to your body fluids, right? And then we will see that what is the exact mechanism of circulation which is seen in human beings, okay? So in this chapter you are going to study about the blood and the related components, as well as you are going to study about the lymph, right? It is also a kind of body fluid, and after that, you are going to study about the circulation, the types of circulation, the human heart, as well as you are going to study the mechanism of circulation. And then we will see at last the disorders which are related to the circulatory system. Okay. So let's start with today's lecture. So today we are going to see about the introductory part with the blood. So body fluids are the medium of transport of nutrients, oxygen and other important substances in the body, right? So here, when we are talking about the body fluids, they are the medium of transport of nutrients, right? So the first thing that the function of the body fluid is the transporting of the nutrients. So whatever nutrients are being obtained from the food, whatever you eat, right? So whatever nutrients you are getting, that is being transported with to the all the different parts of your body with the help of the body fluids. Also, along with the nutrients, the oxygen is also being transported, and along with that, other important substances which is needed for your body cells, right? So that is also being transported with the help of the body fluids. So now we are going to see the body fluids. See, this body fluids are of two types, right? First is intracellular fluid and second is the extracellular fluid, right? So intracellular fluid, that means intra, that is inside the cell, so fluid of each cell, right? So whatever fluid of the cell is said to be the intracellular fluid. And second type of fluid is the extracellular fluid. Extracellular, that means the fluid which is present outside the cell, right? So that is extracellular fluid. So that is blood, lymph, then cerebrospinal fluid, etc. This all are the fluids which are extracellular fluid. So first now we are going to see about the blood. So blood is most commonly used body fluid in most of the higher organisms, right? So blood, this is the commonly used body fluid in the higher organisms. And along with the blood also there is presence of lymph which is going to transport several substances like proteins and fats. So the blood as well as the lymph, both of them are responsible for transporting several important or required or necessary substances like proteins and fats to different parts of your body. Now we are going to see about the contents of the blood, or we can simply say as the components of the blood. So blood is a fluid connective tissue, right? You have studied the different types of tissues in chapter number 7, right? So in that one was the blood fluid connective tissue, right? So the connective tissue, connective, that means it connects the two different tissues, right? So one cells or one bunch of cell is connected with another bunch of cells, and that is what the fluid connective tissue. With the help of a fluid, it is connecting the tissues. For this reason, it is known as fluid connective tissue. And this blood is composed of a fluid matrix, that is plasma, and the blood corpuscles, right? So two things are there in the blood, right? So the first is the plasma, which is the liquid medium in the blood, and second is the blood corpuscles, and those are nothing but the blood cells. So none another, the blood is made up of two things. The first is the blood cells and the second is the blood plasma. Okay, now, the blood plasma, right? So whatever blood is there, it forms 30 to 35% of extracellular fluid. So this blood is composed, or it forms of 30 to 35% of the extracellular fluid, and it is slightly alkaline fluid, and it is having the pH 7.4. So it is like slightly alkaline fluid, right? And this can be asked in MCQ that what exactly or what is the pH of the blood. So that is 7.4. Now, as you can see over here, this flowchart explains that the blood is composed of two things. The formed elements, that is nothing but the blood corpuscles, or we can simply say as the blood cells. So blood is made up of two main things. The first is blood cells and second is blood plasma. Okay. Now, this blood cells is containing of three different types of cells, right? First is erythrocytes, second is leukocytes, and the third is thrombocytes. Okay. Erythrocytes, those are RBC, that is red blood corpuscles, or simply we are saying as red blood cells. Second is leukocytes. These leukocytes are nothing but the WBCs, that are white blood corpuscles or white blood cells. And the third and the last one is the thrombocytes, and these thrombocytes are nothing but the platelets, right? So these are the three different types of cells which are found in the blood. And the plasma content, right, it contains of water, right, then proteins and several mineral ions, right? So if it is asked that what the blood plasma is made up of, so that is water, proteins and the mineral ions. Okay. And the blood cells, which are the three different types of blood cells, those are erythrocytes, so those are RBC, leukocytes, that is WBC, and thrombocytes, those are platelets. Okay. Now, the plasma is straw colored viscous fluid that constitutes 55% of blood volume. So, your plasma is having the blood volume. So, the total amount of volume of the blood, it is consisting of the fluid, and that is 55% of the fluid which is present, and that is the plasma. Now, this plasma contains 90 to 92% water. So, for this reason, the nature of the blood is liquid in nature. So more 90 to 92% of water is present, right? 6 to 8% is proteins, right? And the proteins are present in the form of fibrinogens, albumins and globulins. So these are the three different types of proteins which are found in the plasma. Okay. Along with that, glucose is also present, several amino acids are also present, and very small amount of minerals like sodium, calcium, chloride, right? So those are present in the plasma. So the plasma consists of water, that is 90 to 92%, proteins, that is fibrinogens, albumins, and globulins. They are present in 6 to 8%, right? And along with this too, there is also presence of glucose, several amino acids and very small or few amount of minerals. Okay. Now the erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets, these three when combined to form an element, and that is known as formed element, right? So now we are going to see the three of the cells in detail. Okay. First we will see about erythrocytes. Erythrocytes are most abundant cells in human body. So as you know that erythrocytes, that is RBC, they are very much important for your body. The total blood count of RBC is 5 to 5.5 million, which is slightly less in females due to menstruation. The total count, that is how much amount of RBCs are present in your body, that is 5.5 to 5.5 million. So in your body, this many amount or this much amount of RBCs are present. But this ratio is quite lesser in females because the female every month she undergoes menstruation. For this reason, there will be slightly less amount of RBCs which are found in females. Now, these RBCs are formed in the bone marrow. Now, where bone marrow is present? So, it is present in between the bones, right? So, the bones are present and the fluid of the bone is known as bone marrow, right? So, in this bone marrow, the RBCs or we can say the erythrocytes are formed. The nucleus is absent in the mammalian RBCs having biconcave shape. So, when we are talking about the RBCs, it does not possess nucleus when we are talking about the mammalian RBCs, right? So in the mammals, the RBC does not contain the nucleus and they do possess a shape which is known as biconcave in nature, okay? Now, every 100 ml of blood contains 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin. Now, these RBCs are red in color because there is presence of a pigment which is known as hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin is present in 12 to 16 gram in every 100 ml of blood. So, in 100 ml of blood, 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin is there. Next is they have the lifespan of 120 days. So every RBC lives or they have the lifespan of 120 days. So till 120 days, one RBC can leave, and after that it ruptures and another RBCs are formed. Okay, and they are destroyed in the spleen, right? And for this reason, spleen is said to be the graveyard of RBCs. Spleen is present nearby to the stomach, and this spleen is responsible for destroying the RBCs. Okay, and for this reason, the spleen is said to be the graveyard of RBCs. So this is about the first type of blood cell, and that is erythrocyte. The second type of blood cell is leukocytes. Okay, leukocytes are also known as WBCs, and they are not having any pigment. For this reason, they are known as colorless, or we can say white blood cells, right? Why they are not having any color? Because there is absence of hemoglobin, right? So, as there is no presence of any pigment like hemoglobin, they are white in color. We can say they are colorless, right? And they are present in each ml, that is in 1 ml of blood, 6,000 to 8,000 WBCs are present. Now, what is the function of this WBC? The function of the WBC is to provide you immunity, or we can say they are going to fight against the pathogens, right? Or we can say the harmful antigens which are entering in your body. Okay, so this WBCs are of two types. First is granulocytes and second is agranulocytes. Okay, granulocytes, those are the cells which do possess the granules. Okay, and agranulocytes means the cells which does not possess the granules. Okay, so granulocytes are of three types, right? First is eosinophil, second is basophils, and third is neutrophils. And same way, the agranulocytes are of two types, lymphocytes and monocytes. Okay. So we are going to see this in detail, that the granulocytes are of three types, eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. While agranulocytes, which does not possess the granules in it, those are lymphocytes and monocytes. Okay. So neutrophils are most abundant and basophils are least abundant WBCs. So in your blood, more amount of neutrophils are observed and very much less amount of basophils are present, right? So basophils, maybe there are chances that 0 to 1, that is if even one basophil is observed in your body, then also you might be suffering from any of the life threatening disease. Okay, so basophils are generally not at all present in your blood, and neutrophils are present in more amount. Okay, monocytes and neutrophils, they are the phagocytic cells, right, which destroy the foreign organisms or foreign particles. So phagocytic cells, that means they are going to perform the phagocytosis, right? Phagocytosis is the process which is simply said as hug of death. Why it is said to be hug of death? Because your neutrophils as well as monocytes is two of the cells. What they do is, when any of the foreign particle enters inside your body, they engulf them. For this reason, they are, it is simply said as hug of death, right? So that is phagocytic cells. So this is the figure of different type of WBCs. This is eosinophil, which is, you can see over here, these are the two lobes of the eosinophil, right? And this is the basophil, which is rarely observed in your body. Then it is neutrophils, right? That is, again, there is presence of 4 to 5 lobes in it. Monocyte have the like larger nucleus, right? The T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes, right? These are the two lymphocytes which are observed in your body, right? Basophils secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin that are involved in inflammatory reactions. So this basophil secretes these things, and this is involved in the inflammatory reaction. So whichever body of or whichever part of your body is getting inflamed at that time, this basophils which are rarely observed in your body, right? If this basophils are sick, what they are going to do is they are going to secrete histamine, serotonin as well as heparin, right? So in order to reduce the inflammatory reactions, this basophil secrete this. Eosinophils resist infection and allergic reactions. So the function of eosinophil is to resist the infection. That is, it gives you immunity and also it resist in order with the allergic reaction. So whenever any of the allergies are attacking you, at that time eosinophils helps you to resist with that infection. Okay, and the last, that is lymphocytes, and that B and T lymphocytes, they are going to give you the immune response of the body. That is, they are going to give you the immunity, right? So when any of the foreign particle enters inside your body, the immunity, it develops the immunity and fights against those antigens. Okay, so this is all about the second type of blood cell, and that is WBCs, or we can say leukocytes. The last and the third type is thrombocytes, which are normally known as platelets. Now, these platelets are cell fragments which are produced from megakaryocytes in bone marrow. Right, so platelets are the cell fragments. They are formed or they are present in the form of fragments, and they are being produced from megakaryocytes. And this megakaryocytes is formed in the bone marrow. 15 1 lakh 50,000 to 3 lakh 50,000 platelets are present in each ml of blood. So in 1 ml, this much amount of platelets are formed. And the function of the platelet is to do the blood clotting, right? Or we can say the coagulation of blood, right? So whenever you are under, or if you are being undergoing any injury, right? If a cut is being formed, right? So what this platelets does is, this platelets reach to the site of the injury, right? And they rupture themselves. So when the rupturing takes place, it forms a network like structure, and due to this network like structure, the blood from your body is not able to go outside, and this way the blood clots and the blood loss is reduced, right? So this is the main function of platelets, and this process is nothing but the blood clotting, right? So these are the three different types of cells, or we can say simply the blood cells, right? So today we have seen about the components of the blood, that is the blood plasma, as well as we have seen about the blood cells, right? So I hope you are very clear with today's topic. In the next lecture, we are going to see about the blood grouping system. That is the two grouping system. The first is ABO grouping system, and the second one is RH grouping system. So stay tuned and stay safe and stay home. Okay. I hope you are very clear, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.